All right, guys, going live right now. Gonna wait for some people on Facebook to pop on. Gonna announce over here on my Twitter. And those of you following me on Twitter, Z Evanesh. Live video Q&A. Facebook.com/ All right. Got some people popping in, and gonna wait for 5 to 10 people to cruise on over. Then gonna tackle the topic of stop being scared of excellence, also known as stop being scared of being stronger, stop being scared of being better, stop being scared of doing the work. Okay, welcome Aaron Dedrick, Michael McLaughlin. Man, I'm starting to wonder if any of you guys have jobs. Just kidding. So if it's the life of a strength coach, you've got some pockets, some empty pockets of time around that lunchtime break, and it's a nonstop hustle. This morning, ran 3 groups over at Rutgers. My boy Ray Jazz is on. Let's wait for a couple more people, and we will crush it. All right, guys, so Martin Alexander, McQuaid's in the house. While you guys check in, figure we're going to go for about 10 minutes on this one. It's going to be maybe even less. And, of course, I answer questions as we go through some of this stuff. So let's see if we could get a couple more people on. Peoples of the earth. And crushing some work, attacking a lot of stuff for the gym, for the online work. I was tempted to take a nap because I'm friggin' tired, but you know what I said? Gonna have to crush some coffee and gonna have to tough it out. And sometimes you give yourself that opportunity to take a nap. Other times you say, you know what? Next time, that's your problem. Get to bed earlier. All right, guys, so here's what we got. I recently put up a blog post at the Underground Strength Gym. Basically, is in-season strength training bad? And when I say strength training or strength and conditioning, it's such a blanket term. It's a very general statement because it's not just strength. It's not just conditioning. It's confidence building. It's building mental toughness. It's attacking weak areas. It's working on speed. It's working on explosive power. It's working on mobility. It's fixing up some injuries or some nagging issues in each athlete. So it is total human performance. So I'm always shocked by how many people, parents, athletes, they bail out when the time is in season. I've been having this conversation for probably a decade now. Because at every college setting, at least at the Division I level, you're training in season. The season comes, and what do you think you do? You stop training? You're like, you know what? That's it, guys. We are going to stop getting stronger. We got to stop getting better. This getting better thing is crazy, right? What's happening, Ori Ortega? I'm training athletes always for improvement. And, guys, you should be crushing that thumbs up. Don't be watching idle. Or you could just listen while you're doing burpees, pull-ups, squats, doing some training. I had a recent conversation with a parent, and he said they went to a wrestling match, and they were away, and he goes, I never heard such a thing, but the other team was chanting through the stands saying, hit the weight room or go to the gym, something like that. He goes, I never heard such a thing. He goes, you could just see we're getting beat in all these positions where we need to be stronger. We need to be better. We need to be tougher in those positions. So I said, yeah. Opportunity is knocking. The gym is waiting. The underground is always ready to go. Brian D is in the house. And then I hear wrestling coaches, out of all, wrestling coaches saying, you know, it's near the end of the season. I'm afraid my guys are going to be sore. I mean, if that comes out of your mouth as a wrestling coach, you're not a wrestler. You're not a wrestler. You are just part of the wrestling team. Because I'm going to tell you something about wrestling. That shit hurts. Your body's aching. It hurts. And that's a whole aspect of the training is, do you crumble and cave in because you're a little bit sore or even a lot sore sometimes? Or do you build your body and mind to be stronger, to be more durable, to handle the rigors of wrestling so you can be at your best at the end of the season versus a mentally and physically broken down wrestler. There's a big difference in that. So in high school, at least in New Jersey, I know the season has some different starting times around the country. I believe California wrestling starts in the fall, where we are in the fall, we are soccer, football. So we've got 3 weeks until the wrestlers are in districts. In 3 weeks, if a wrestler shows up to my gym twice a week for 20 to 30 minutes, man, can I get that kid stronger. And then if I could help him qualify for the regions, I've got another week of work. We could start getting things done. We can get better. Now, if you're an athlete, you should always be looking how to get better. How can I find an advantage? Because if I'm not finding an advantage, then that is a disadvantage. And you never want to give the competition opportunity to have advantage over you. So as much as athletes have to be coachable, meaning if I tell you, hey, I need you to do more squats, or I need you to squat deeper, or we're going to do deadlifting, or every day when you're at home, I need you working your pull-ups. As much as they have to own that and take my feedback and be coachable, coaches need to be more open-minded. So if you're an athlete, if you're a parent, share this with a coach that you know and say, look, here's a guy saying it straight up. You need to open up your mind and work better together with these coaches. And now I'm going to take this into kind of a part 2 because I was supposed to answer this question last week. One of our coaches, real high level guy, just retired from the Marines, was a very high ranking, I believe he was a captain, so very high level, in charge of an entire unit, highly motivated obviously, because if you don't have your shit together you could get killed out there. And he said that he was volunteering his time for several months at a high school, and what happened was He's been through the underground strength coach certification. In fact, he trained at the underground strength gym before he went to officer candidate school. So he has an understanding of our system, of how we build athletes, from the bodyweight training and the basic sled work and basic dumbbell exercises, then some sandbags and kettlebells, and we build you up to the barbell. He said, well, I'm at this high school, and the football coach basically told me that they don't want me to help anymore because I won't let the kids touch the barbells yet. He goes, these kids can't do push-ups, they can't do pull-ups, they can't do a full body weight squat, and they want them squatting, power cleaning, benching because they bought new squat racks, so they're all upset. So I said, I'm going to answer that question. So number one, you're volunteering your time, and the tough thing is coming from an organization such as the Marines, high level, ass kickers, and now you're coming to a level where you're working at a high school with 15, 16-year-olds, and you're working with a coach who's got an ego problem. It's a very tough transition. I mean, that would be putting it lightly. Very tough transition. And you guys watching, I'd appreciate if you could share this video out so other people could get impacted by the video. So my advice to him is, okay, they want the use of the barbells. Maybe they're not ready for a bar on their back, but they could do dumbbell farmer walks, dumbbell clean and press, sumo deadlift, trap bar deadlift. They could start with Zercher squats, and you build them up. Sometimes the lifts are just not beautiful and perfect, especially if you're trying to compare their movement capabilities and proficiency to you as a coach. They're not going to be there. And sometimes you have to move forward and put a bar on somebody's back. We had a kid that we were training for about 2 years, started in middle school, and now he's a freshman. And finally I said to him, I said, dude, all your buddies here that started training with you, they're crushing you. They're squatting, they're deadlifting, they're just carrying heavy weights. And you're still looking like a hunchback of Notre Dame squatting a 35-pound kettlebell. Boom, done. So I said, guess what your middle name is? Box squats. Your middle name is squats. So every day he came in, he was squatting. And I used safety bar and I straight bar with him. And I would do things like 12 sets of 2. He would get a couple sets of 2 in, and after every set, push-ups, pull-ups. 3-4 sets after that, farmer walks. 3-4 sets after that, recline row. He squatted from beginning to end, and then every 3 or 4, maybe every 5 sets, I put in a different lift. And you know what we had to do? We had to put some weight on his back. And then when those box squats started looking good, we started moving to free squats. Unfortunately, that kid doesn't train with us now because he's not pushing forward in season. He's going to lose or has already lost everything he worked for, and that's somebody who's way behind the 8 ball. So here's what I'm telling you guys. You need to fight to show up for that in-season training. As a coach, if you're a sports coach, you need to make connections with a strength coach and ask for help. Who are the most successful military units? All the military branches, they're elite special forces. They all work in small teams. Marine Force Recon, Airborne, Navy SEALs, you name it, Delta Force, they're all teams. They work together. Nobody's like, hey, I'm doing this all on my own. I don't need anybody's help. It's a one-man show. No, it's a team. And that's what makes everybody better. In fact, even as an individual athlete, if you make your teammates better, that makes you better because now you feel accountable. You feel like you have to be a leader. So now you are like, all right, even if I am a little bit tired and beat up, if I'm trying to get them to perform better, then I have to perform the best myself. I've got to lead from the front. So here we have it, guys. In-season training, you've got to make it happen. If you're a little bit sore, that's not a big deal. Stop being scared of being sore. How do you alleviate soreness? You get stronger. You get better. You get in better shape. You do calisthenics on days that you're not doing the weights. You do sleds on the regular. You get to bed an hour earlier. You eat healthier. And you find a way to do all these things that improve your overall performance. So what's the worst thing that could happen? That's what I told this parent. I said, you want to know what the worst thing that'll happen for the athletes who start training now? The worst thing is they're going to get stronger. They're going to get more confident, more explosive, faster, tougher. They're going to get better. That's the worst thing that's going to happen to them. Guys, this isn't the 70s and the early 80s where the coaches were telling kids, don't lift weights, you'll be muscle bound. Take a look around. I don't see any muscle bound athletes in the sports, in any sports. I don't have anybody showing up at the underground who's strong enough, fast enough, good enough, great enough. There's always somebody out there who, if they're not better than you right now, their work ethic is overriding and going beyond your talent. So the bottom line is, it's never too late. The best time to start is yesterday. If you have not started an in-season strength program, then you are happy being part of the team. And that is average. And who wants to be average? Who wakes up in the morning and pumps their fist to the sky? Boom, today I'm going to be average. Nobody. So fight the good fight. Be a warrior. Own it. Be a Spartan and demand greatness of yourself. That is the way to the top. That is the way to move forward. That is the way to be better than yesterday. Took me a while to make a coach friend understand this fact. Ori, cool, man. I'd love to hear more about that story. Boss Dylan, welcome, brother. So, guys, man, we as coaches, I understand if you're an independent coach, it's tough because I'm an independent coach and I work at a university. Let me tell you how it works with the coaches I work with at Rutgers. It is awesome. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's 20. After every match, I exchange text messages with the coaches. They tell me things they need to work on physically, mentally. Get into this kid's head, work with him a little bit more on this. There's no power struggle. Do you want to know why? We have a common theme. Win, get better. And that means for them to become better wrestlers, I got to be as great of a strength coach as I can to make them better so they can perform better on the wrestling mat. And I've heard of coaches that they just argue with the sport coach, or the sport coach argues with the strength coach. For me, first and foremost, I work for those wrestling coaches. That's who I work for. I told the kids today, I go, what's the most important thing? The weight room or wrestling? It's wrestling, or whatever that sport is. If it's football, tennis, soccer, baseball, it's the sport. So the training has to feed the sport. It has to make them perform better and feel better at the sport. So you need to find ways to do that. And I am lucky enough in the university setting to have support. When I was at Lehigh, same thing. The coaches loved me. The coaches wanted me there. And this is the Division I level. So why does it not happen at the high school level? Look, start them early. Do the right thing right away. Don't wait until college. So sport coaches watching and listening, parents, you have to find a way to get your child that in-season training. Don't let the coaches threaten you into not training. And if you're sore, that means you're not strong enough. And guess what happens? Your body adapts. It gets stronger and it gets better. Just by giving this little video speech here, I am more fired up to train myself, to get better and to get stronger. That's it, guys. Frank DeMeo says, what's up? Frank DeMeo is probably the most faithful underground strength coach disciple out there. Who's got questions? Anybody got questions? I will take one or two questions if anybody's got something. Brian D says, kids that avoid off-season. That's right. Kids that avoid the off-season training show up at the preseason weak and injury prone. So there's no such thing really as the off-season. I just put up a video on YouTube. We call it all season. You're training all year round. And even when you're done with sports, for example, today I left coaching the Rutgers guys, and I go into the wrestling room, and I saw the two coaches training. I saw Donnie Britzloff in his big sweatsuit with the sweatpants tucked into his socks, winter hat on. He was on the treadmill with dumbbells. I saw Coach Pollard crushing kettlebells. Coach Goodale training with the team. We train. Strength training for cross country. Mike, I love that question. Keep it simple. Do farmer walks, lunges, back extensions. If they could do trap bar deadlift or light sumo deadlifts, that's great. Upper body calisthenics, push-ups, pull-ups, recline row, kettlebell clean and press. Getting athletes stronger makes them better. We train many track and field athletes, and they basically just jump in and train with us. We build them up like any other athlete. It's general physical preparation. Now, in season, I would even have a day, if I was training cross-country athletes, I would have a day where we do sprint repeats to build the muscles and to build that anaerobic because they're going to produce more power versus just always doing that long, drawn-out distance. I'm going to do some strength work, which is also going to give them kind of a break from always running, not just a mental break, but a physical break. And that strength work might be a bit of a circuit. So it might be farmer walk for 100 or 150 feet, sled drag 100, 150 feet, push-ups, pull-ups. Repeat that for 5 rounds. And now we're looking at a 15, 20-minute circuit, which is, what does that come to? It's a 5K right there as far as the time. So now you're working somewhat general specific because you're mimicking the time frame that's involved with it. And you will see that those cross-country athletes will recover better. They're going to be faster, especially near the end of a race when you've got to sprint to the finish line when it's neck to neck if you're trying to win, or top 3, top 5, top 10. So cross-country runners should definitely be training. If you look at long-distance runners, those that do a lot of that stuff, they're strong. My buddy Joe DeSena, who was doing all those crazy-ass long adventure races, burpees, push-ups, pull-ups, kettlebell swings, you still have to have strength. And strength doesn't necessarily mean putting weight in your hands. It could come from calisthenics, okay? Great question, Mike. Anybody else got a question? See if anybody's popping questions to me here on the Twitters. I don't think so. Anybody else got any questions? If not, that's it. I want you guys to keep training to be dangerous. Mike, Coach Mike, it's my pleasure. I'm just trying to see if I missed any questions here. Nope. No questions missed. Very good, guys. All right, guys. High school coaches, if you need to get technology involved, we've got 2 options. On Amazon, you could check out my Kindle, High School Strong, 6 months of training, or you could do High School Strong from Train Heroic, which is an app. So basically the school would hopefully fund it for you. I don't think it's expensive. It might be like $70, $60, I don't even remember, something like that. $60, $70, $79. And you get the app, and then you invite your athletes to it through an email. They get the workout on their phone, and they could follow those workouts. They could track their workouts. They could see what their teammates are doing, so there could be some competitive environment going on. It'll also track their progress. Hey, here's the kind of numbers you've been hitting on squats and benches and so forth. So High School Strong is inside the Train Hero platform. So if you're a teacher or coach and administration wants to see you utilizing software, take advantage of our Train Hero program, and Amazon.com/author/Zach, Z-A-C-H. You'll find my Amazon books. All right, guys? Much respect. Scott says, thanks for your time, Zach. And the truth bombs, it is my pleasure, guys. I live for making athletes better, and that means helping the coaches. Peace, guys.